Audio should be good. All right, let's figure this out. What's up, bro? Good, bro. Good. Always good. All right. How are we doing? All right. Bienvenido. Sí, welcome. Claro.
Gracias.
Carlos.
Igor.
Sí. Igor, sí.
Estuvimos un día, bueno, yo te vi en un Zoom que hizo un profesor de Miami-Dade College.
Sí,
Estuve ahí
Michael Selinger.
Sí.
Sí.
Estuvo interesante.
Buenísima persona.
Siempre me quedé con las ganas de venir
Claro, claro, bienvenido. Hay pastelito, yo voy a traer de café.
Gracias.
Y empezamos en como 5 minutos. Sí. Ese es Dimitri, Ralph, Bruce. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Sources. All right. Should be able to see comments. Anybody watching this on the stream, please drop a comment so I can make sure you're hearing my audio good. I'm going to just bring this coffee in and we'll get started. chat.
Kind of a stack of stuff.
All right. Audio is good. Thank you, Steve. Alex, jealous I couldn't come in person for this one. It's going to be a good one. All right. Let's get rolling. I think I should be able to see everybody's comments here when they come in. But if you guys see me talking and something comes in and I don't see it, I could use the heads up. I got to get my printout with some notes, and then we're good.
Fingerprint not recognized. Unlocked.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good? We'll get started while everybody else continues to head here. We met on a Zoom call that I was teaching Igor.
Right.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the group because I didn't go too deep into it on the call. Was it at the Miami-Dade class?
Right.
This is Wizards of Ecom. We used to be called Wizards of Amazon in the beginning. The basis of this group starting is initially just for me to get better as a seller. I was a seller. There wasn't a lot of other sellers. It was a lot of late nights, a lot of stress trying to figure stuff out, a lot of getting suspended, guessing, touching the stove, a lot. I'd love to say that the touching the stove era has ended, but apparently this is something that goes on for the rest of your life. And it worked out amazing. First meetup we had, I picked a coffee shop near the house because in case nobody came, it wouldn't be that long of a drive back. You can't reserve seats at Starbucks, right? So I bought a bunch of coffees and I sat them out on the table and put like a wallet and a purse and different other things, right? Or a bag, a purse, my computer bag, and kind of just kept looking at the bathroom like, wow, why are they taking so long? Anytime they looked at me thinking I was holding seats. And eventually 4 people came. And then for the next 4 events, nobody came. And I would take pictures of people, like if I was sitting next to Bruce and Ralph, I'd take a picture like when they weren't looking and snap it and then post it as, can't wait to see everybody on the next one. And the assumption is that, and it worked, right? We've been doing this now for 13 years. I'm gonna say the initial goal that I set out to do, crushed it. I've been able to do great as a seller. I think I learned something here every single day in different areas. I've learned a ton just from the people in the room, from Dimitri. I've learned a ton about personal and professional balance from Ralph. I've learned probably the greatest thing I've ever learned, because I would have probably died much shorter if not, health-wise, from Bruce. Everybody that comes in here, like nobody's better than the other, but we're in different stages of what's going on. And that's what the group's about. So I'd say sellers helping sellers. It's free. It's a pitch-free zone. Yeah, so that's the idea. Now, the pastelitos and the coffee and all that stuff. Okay, and the camera. So when COVID hit, pre-COVID, this would be standing room only. For some reason, post-COVID, as many people don't go to events as before, which is a better thought to think of than everybody died. And we needed to get a physical location for our event, so we took on sponsors. So you'll see some of the sponsors coming on the ticker down here at the bottom as we're talking. It's a little NASCAR ticker right here. I think they're great sponsors. I either know them personally or I work with them currently right now, and in the off chance that I don't, it would be something like a situation where I might say, hey, such and such, before we sponsor, can you give a license to this thing to say, I don't know, Bruce or Ralph or Dimitri, and let them stress test this for a while, and then when they give me their feedback, we'll decide based on that. So they're really good people. I don't expect you to run out and buy it. I don't expect you to switch from what you have, but if you do see them, just understand they're some of the good guys. And we wouldn't be able to accomplish this. There definitely wouldn't be any pastelitos, right? And so we're blessed to have that. Also been a lot of support, within the group to be able to do what we do. And yeah, it's been a pretty amazing ride. So I'd say the only spot where you can get this level of content consistently for free, and that there's technically a rule where you can't even be sold to. So it's a good spot. So I hope you feel comfortable, you make yourself at home, and you continue coming. How we structure the events. So, and during COVID also, we obviously couldn't meet. So we needed to go on Zoom. And then we have some amazing people that watch this now on the stream, because when we were able to come back in person, we didn't want to alienate a lot of the friends that we met. So Wizards of Amazon became Wizards of Ecom, and we expanded from just an in-person event in Miami to, it sounds scary to say global, but global. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, huh? Okay, so structure of the meetups. Every Saturday we meet from 1 to 3:30. We usually have some networking afterwards. Sometimes we have a meetup event that starts after this one. And from 1 to 2 p.m., like what we're in right now, I do some announcements, I mention sponsors, and we're gonna have a beginner hour. So we're gonna prioritize beginner questions, which could be something like, I don't know what to ask, is it too late? It could be anything, but we try to prioritize the beginner. And then in the topic of the week, which will be from 2 to 3:30, I would say it's not always advanced, but it's not how to get started. I try to pick stuff that will allow you to level up your business wherever you're at. So I'm gonna say intermediate. Today's topic I think might be one of our better ones as far as impactful in your business right now. And it's how to approach, because we all hear about influencers, but how to approach influencers. I put down 5 ways to do it. I wanted to surprise everyone. I have 10. I'm gonna share 10 ways that you can work with an influencer as a beginner with little to no budget and really make a big impact in your business, whether it's for a launch, whether you have an existing product that's flat, or whether you're trying to scale. So this will apply to everyone. And in this presentation, or in the meetup, I promise that I'll share a template with you. I think the easiest way to share that is gonna be just DM me or message me somewhere and say, hey, if you really like what you saw today and you want the template, I'll send you the template that I have. With maybe a Loom video explaining why I worded things the way I worded them. All right. We covered some announcements. Podcast. We have a podcast called Wizards of Ecom. We have Wizards of Ecom in English and Wizards of Ecom in Español, or English and Español. They're not translations of each other. They're completely separate episodes. I took a pause to retool the episode. I do the one in English because we had this move and we've had a lot of cool things happening in the community. So when I restarted again, I plan on reaching out to a lot of you guys to interview you, even if I'm assuming you're just starting. even if somebody's just starting, so we can, other people in the group, I'm gonna start creating this podcast for people in this group, rather than trying to appeal to a bunch of people around the world that I don't know. I think it'd be better, and I think it'll allow everyone in the community to connect more with each other and be better, it'll be easier to approach somebody else in the community that's where you wanna be, and that you can ask them questions. We have a YouTube channel where you can watch these streams afterwards called Wizards of Ecom. That's where we're streaming right now. And this camera obviously is not facing you, it's just facing this way, as you can see. And if anyone has questions on the stream, they can ask and I'll answer. I think that covers it as far as announcements. We used to travel a lot more as a group to conferences, but I feel like the quality of a lot of these conferences have kind of taken a dive. Yeah. And I was getting a lot of feedback from the group that, you know, what's being talked about on stage or taught is something that we talk about regularly here all the time. So it wasn't necessarily new information, it wasn't validating anything you were unsure of. And I don't know if that's more of a decline, if that speaks more to a decline of conferences, or if it speaks more to the quality of this meetup. But either way, it wasn't making a lot of sense. And as things change, I think we should change. We shouldn't just be on this habit of just going because. So some of the conferences right now that are part of my, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say these are the ones I go to. One of them is called Craft and Commerce, and it has to do with the content side of the business, which I think is going to be very important for all businesses over the next few years. And another one is PLMA, Private Label Manufacturers Association in Chicago. Dimitri, you just went. How was it? Overwhelming?
Actually, I have a lot of contacts from the suppliers, manufacturers. You can find a lot of new ideas.
Yeah, those cubes, by the way, those are mics. Yeah, you don't have to hold them to you, but it's so the people on the stream don't feel like they're spying into a room. And if we're having dialogue, they can hear it just as good. I think that's it for announcements. As far as beginner hour questions, I think we can get into that. Any questions that anyone has? One thing I wanted to share, just kind of continuing from last week, in the world of AI and e-commerce specifically, Ramon, who was here last week, he's going all in, I think we're all going more in on AI than we care to admit, but I mean, he's going all in on this new one. Can you repeat what Dimitri said? Could you talk closer to the mic though about your opinion on PLMA and what was your take?
Yeah, I have a lot of contacts with suppliers and manufacturers, and there's a good place to find new ideas which create products. On PLMA.
Yeah, it's in Chicago in November. I think it's a good time. It's a lot of walking. You could pull the event off in a day, but if not, day and a half. We usually stay 2 days. Good event, cold, but good event. Yeah. Okay. So AI. Ramon is going all in. I think it's called OpenClaw now. It was called ClaudeBot, and then it was called a few other things, MakerClaw, I don't know. But he's going all in on OpenClaw. And he's not just going in on it and having it do research, which I think is the big difference. A lot of us are using it for research and brainstorming, which is great. What he's using it for is to specifically improve the efficiency in his Amazon business and specifically to lower his operating costs. So that's pretty important. So freeing up your time, making it more cheaper to operate, and I wanted to kind of keep everybody in the loop in case anybody else is wondering, can this really help? So one of the things that he's done this week, and this is already in motion, has to do with strike-through pricing. So if you notice, you see your product selling on Amazon and it's got a strike-through it, $150, it's selling for, it's got a $50 strike-through, so it makes it look like there's a deal going on. There's a lot of schools of thought on how to go about doing that. What both sides would agree on is if you're trying to force the strike-through, it's very time-consuming. And that's if you have one product. If you have a lot of products that you want to do this on, it's almost a part-time job who you're either doing yourself and not paying yourself, or you're paying someone to do. So what he's done is he's created alerts daily anytime his product loses the strike-through price. If Clawbot sends the alert that the strike-through price has been lost on a product, what it will do, it'll check your 90-day ideal sell window. For example, let's say Monday at 4 p.m. It downloads the SP API reports and makes calculations for you. It will raise your price for you and continue moving your price up and down until you can get the strike-through. And as soon as you get a sale, it'll lower the price back down to normal. So you got the sale at the higher price, you lower it, you now have the strike-through. And you never have to touch it. You never have to log in and deal with it. If you have multiple SKUs and you're going through the strike-through, trying to get the strike-through price, this really should save 10, 15 hours a week. So pretty impressive. The cons, there's a lot of cons out there about using it. Like, for example, Ramon's a genius in the Amazon space. So he doesn't look like a genius, in case he's watching this. He doesn't look like a genius, but he's a genius when it comes to those kind of details and building out like what this thing needs to do. So for the average person, they might not. Is he there? How can we get this tool? Well, Steve, you know Ramon, so I've told him that I'm going to try to give him the hug of death and have everybody DM him. So if you want, Steve, message him and said, Carlos said you're giving free Clawbot training. And that I just shared the Clawbot SOP that he built for strike-through pricing. He'll get a kick out of that. He didn't say he was going to do a free training, but I suspect it's coming. So the tool, again, is Clawbot, or it was what, Clawbot, and now I think it's called Clawbot. If somebody wants to check the name, can you look up Clawbot and see what it's called now, in case, so I'm not mangling the name? OpenClaw. It's called OpenClaw. It's an agent on your machine. So like there's a con on the security side, which I think is a very real one. I think it's a very, very real one. Having said that, there seems to be a lot of safeguards you can do. The other con is building it. It's a pretty big time sink up front to do it, but like Steve's asking about it. Steve has the brain for that. Like Steve's mind thinks that way. Like Steve could like block that out like that. Ramon could do it like that. Like very like integrator mind types. So you have to be willing to put a bunch of work up front to have to do less work later. Those are the only two cons. It's not like you go in there, it's just ready to build software, and you're like, here are my SKUs. You know, go forth and get me strike-through price. No, you got to go in there and work it. I think I don't know if OpenClaw is going to be what we should be thinking of. But I do think it's kind of had like a TikTok effect. It's like, okay, everybody, this is something that's possible. Everybody needs to start doing stuff like this. So I imagine Gemini is going to come out with something. OpenAI, ChatGPT, they liked it so much they bought them. So like that says a little bit. They could buy pretty much whatever they want in that space, and they liked it so much they bought it. So there's going to be Chris on the live stream. Miss you, bro. I was waiting for you to walk in. A lot of good stuff today. When I get into it, Chris, it's going to help your business. So, yeah, that's my takeaway on AI. Questions? Anybody have any beginner questions on the stream or in person? Dimitri? You got to have, where are you at?
With the food product, do you test it like, you usually produce samples with your manufacturer, so you can do it like, let's say, at home and test it on your friends, colleagues, and so on?
I do both.
Both.
I would do both. So you're asking, should I just get samples, or should I mix it up at home? So here's the thing. If it's something, a lot of times depends how you're going about this. Let me say it both ways. I know which way you're approaching this, and I know the first part doesn't apply to you. But sometimes you have somebody who is really good at making something, like, I don't know, a flan, and they're so good at making this thing, and all of a sudden people start asking for it. So they had a way to make it and get the buy-in from everyone. But doing that at mass and packaging it, and that's beyond the scale or scope of what their kitchen can do. So then they need to go to a factory, and they might want to go back and forth with samples for like flavor profiles, and this is what I want to do, and oh, to do this in mass, we have to use this and not this, and there's this sacrifice back and forth to get where this person feels like it's acceptable. So there's that. I think there might be room for the reverse, and that is, you know more or less what you want the factory to do, but a little more of this or a little more of that might make this huge difference. So rather than have a lot more back and forth, which is going to cost you time with the factory, maybe you do that, you know, in the kitchen, like you said, and dial it in with friends. And when everyone's like, yeah, this is it, now you have something exact, you can go to the factory on. So like I think you could move faster if you can do both. But ultimately, even if you dial it in at home, you need to get samples from the factory or the supplier. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Where are you at in the process?
Same, like I have a few suppliers. I didn't have a contact with any of them, but I have a contact with them to try to source samples, and also I'm doing testing at home. And now I hired one food scientist.
Yep.
I found one that is like, well, like those food science companies, they charge like from $5,000 to $10,000 per formula. That doesn't work for me, like for a first product. So he charges $75 per hour, and he helps with
That's a lot better.
with with formulation, with like, you know, with maybe replacing some ingredients with cheaper or better. The ingredient that is cheaper or better fit the product.
I feel like that's the way to go. I feel like you bring a food scientist in when you're like, I want to create high protein, no carb, no sugar, great tasting candy canes. Like that's so like, this is like a sugar carb thing, and you want to make it taste just as good and make people not even realize that they're doing 50 grams of protein. In that sense, you need somebody, because that's huge, you know. Or you're trying to do something. You can't hear them, Steve, because the mic's right in front of them.
Yes.
Let me raise your volume. Yeah, well, your volume was all the way down. I don't know how they were hearing
Can you hear me
before.
now?
Should be able to hear you now. Give them a second. So like, but I'll repeat it as we go. So what Dimitri was saying is that, should we do a, you know, mess around with the recipe and tweak it in your kitchen, or go straight to the supplier? And we were saying there's room for both, depending on the stage. Like you might be able to move faster and get that official final product with the supplier by tweaking it a little bit at home locally. And then he mentioned how he was looking for a food scientist, and he found one, but it was like $10,000 for a formulation. But he had some luck finding someone that's like $70, loud and clear, good. So he found somebody that had like $70, like $70 per hour, could pretty much do the same thing, or close enough for his needs. And I was mentioning, yeah, I think the $70 an hour route, besides just cost-wise being the only way to go, is more than enough for most people. I would only consider like a food scientist if it was like a baby formula. If it was something like extreme, like getting a candy cane, this pure sugar thing, and turning it into a high protein thing that tastes just as good as the candy, or just like, you know, that's kind of extreme, and I'd be like, you know, I have no idea where to approach this.
Okay, but for your products, who's creating this nutrition panel? Who's creating the final?
The nutrition panel, a whole bunch of people will do. Sometimes the supplier
Yes, for
will
like,
do, yeah.
on Fiverr they're doing like for $25-50.
Welcome. You're good. Yeah, nutrition panels are pretty easy. One thing you got to watch out sometimes with a nutrition panel is if you ask the supplier for the nutrition panel, a lot of the times they'll give you the nutrition panel in the way that they ship it. So say they ship to you by the barrel. Mm-hmm. They'll give you the nutrition panel for the whole barrel. So it might be like 40 million calories, you know what I mean? I don't know. So you need, some people make the mistake of asking for the nutrition panel. The supplier, if they're not packing it, they don't know how you're selling it. And a 1 pound nutrition panel looks totally different than a 6 ounce or a 2 pound. So usually the supplier can do that. But if not, there's a lot of, I can send you one, but there's a lot of
I
suppliers.
found a few like
Yeah.
on Fiverr.
Totally.
Fiverr or Upwork.
Yeah, totally. Good stuff. Well, I'm glad to see you're advancing it. How close are you to pulling the trigger?
Sorry?
How close are you to pulling the trigger and actually ordering?
I think it's the same place where it was like 2 months ago.
But do you think that's because you're over analyzing things? Is that a tendency? You do?
Probably. You know what? I needed
What would you need to do to place your order next week? Like you're going to order on Friday. If you needed to order on Friday and everything depended on it, what would you need to do before Friday?
Okay, probably. Actually, I had several estimates from several suppliers, but the cost was too high. So
Uh-huh.
I need to go down with my expectation of like product, because I did it too.
Premium.
Yes, too premium, and especially for Amazon. So I needed to adjust formula to make it cheaper, but at the same time to keep it like clean label, no sugar, and so on.
Out of
So,
curiosity, did you put a lot of add-ons?
a little
Is what
bit-
you did is like you had a base ingredient and you're like,
Yes, I have like.
add
working for-
glutamine, add this, and you just added a bunch.
Not really. Probably I can adjust. You know, put less expensive ingredients and replace some like for sweetener we were going to use monk fruit or allulose that are pretty expensive, but you know those food scientists, they can recommend or suggest like replacement of this ingredient that is cheaper, but still we can claim it as no sugar or clean label. So this is why I actually hired food scientists, not to create formula from scratch or do samples, but suggesting such questions as replacing ingredients.
I'm not shooting it down, but is the product, are you trying to make it too perfect on the first run?
Probably, yeah.
It
So-
sounds like that.
Yes.
And
So-
we're all guilty of that, but it sounds like you're trying to create on this first food product that could have a whole bunch of different variations and a whole bunch of different things like the Lamborghini of. And if that's the case, then I want to back off, because if you want to do it, creating the Lamborghini of is not a 1 month process. Like you could spend 5 months on packaging, you know what I mean? Like creating something and worth it. But so I don't want to be too unfair, and I'm like, crack, let's do it by next week, and that's your thing.
No,
You just want, because if you don't, and you're just like, I want whatever
Actually, I think I
cassava
needed
flour.
to start this tasting with my friends and colleagues like 2 months ago. So I have a feedback.
What's your deadline to order?
I don't have deadline.
I'd set one. Think about it, and I circle back to you, and you say a deadline, and then I feel like if it's something that could happen in, what is it? Parkinson's law, I think it is, that a task, the time needed to finish a task fills the time you give it. So if you have 2 months to launch, you're probably gonna launch in 2 months. But if you had a week or two to launch, you'd be ready in a week or two.
Yeah.
So maybe set a deadline. Chris, our suppliers have accommodated our nutrition facts requirements. So yeah, most
have a good
suppliers will.
supplier.
You're like, who's the supplier?
Yeah, nutrition panel isn't not the main pain.
Okay.
When you have like,
I will itemize them out and send them to me. Itemize what those pains are. So sometimes there's somebody else looking at it. I might be able to say, well, if you're taking 2 weeks on that, you're BSing. Like that, you're thinking.
send you a formal or send you a
No,
product?
send me just like, because I'm trying to ask you now, and it sounds like there's a lot there. Like if you had to give me a bulleted list of what you'd need to do
Yeah.
to launch to place your order by next Friday,
Okay,
what would be on that list?
okay.
And if I looked at it and I'm like, that looks like 16 hours of work, then it can be done, and there's overthinking. But if it's,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know that you know there are a lot of moving parts that are related, like formula, packaging, suppliers, everything. Because like, you know, I also have, I don't know, 5, 6 packages suppliers in China, well, like manufacturers. And they're messaging me almost every day in the WhatsApp, or any updates, And I'm looking because
You know what? Don't be annoyed with that, because if you
No, no,
work if you work with U.S. suppliers, they just won't respond, or
Really?
they'll take forever, or they won't respond. At least when you're
Oh.
working with a
No, no,
with a Chinese supplier, they're constantly on. You ready to do it? We're ready to go.
I'm good with it, but depending on my formula, the package can be different, you know, like volume or what. So I'm saying to them that I'm still in the process of finalizing the formula, the product. Then when I have the final product and the price, I can do like, I'm still, you know, I can do 7 servings in the package, or I can do 9, 10 servings in the package, depending on the cost of 1 serving. So it, still everything, you know, it,
Okay, good. I'll stop picking on you.
huh?
I'll stop picking on you right now. I'll move to
No,
something.
I'm good, I'm like, you know.
All right. If you guys have questions on the stream, feel free to ask them. How about yourself? Your first day? I think this is your first. I feel like you've been here before. You've been here before.
On the other side, it was the other, like, there.
The tank. The tank, the brewery for the networking. Yes, I knew I saw you before. Well, this is your first time at our. This is our normal thing. Normally, we're not like boozing it, right? But this is our beginner hour, like I mentioned him. This is our beginner hour, so you can ask any questions. No experience is necessary here. I'm making an assumption that you're beginners. You might be veteran sellers for all I know. But like this is where you could ask those questions. So
Yeah.
normally I would say ladies first, but she just got here, so we'll let her like settle, and then. But I'm gonna go with you
Sure.
first. Yeah.
Are you using AI right now to analyze your campaign on Amazon and try to get better performance? Like ChatGPT or I don't know.
So I'm going to say you're not a beginner. You're not a beginner, and there's more to you
Okay.
than let's. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I love it. I can tell a lot by the question.
Right.
So absolutely. So one thing, and I think I'm not sure we're ever going to get there with it, but I never thought that we'd be able to create fake videos now that look really realistic. So who knows? And there's an assumption, I think, from the fact that I have an agency that, oh my God, he must be anti-AI for PPC because all agencies would go out of business. Most would. Most don't add the strategic component to it. So I would love nothing more than AI PPC. So there isn't right now. And I use all the softwares, I beta them. There is no AI for that. But what AI in the PPC world is absolutely killer at is analyzing the reports, which is more to the root of your question. It is fantastic with it. And it's also really good in the sense of you can get the report. You don't have to have Amazon seller skills. You can do one of those cheesy, act like an experienced blah, 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 blah performer. Here are my reports. Any other additional reports you need from my account? Because sometimes the PPC report alone isn't enough to give you, and you're nodding. I want to know your story in a second. You shouldn't be, I'm calling you a beginner and you're nodding. I see so you can get that. And why I think that's powerful is, like if you're a brand owner, a few different ways. So if you're, I'm gonna use Dimitri as an example. Dimitri, sharp guy, sharp business owner, no doubt he's gonna be successful. Hungry to learn Amazon PPC. Might be a mistake, but at some point, to learn it or work with an agency, you need to be able to push back and ask the right questions and check what's going on. There used to be a really big gap there. And there's this unknown, like Dimitri's there, is like, what am I got? I'm paying money, nothing's happening. And the default is, I'm being screwed, you know? I'm being taken for a ride here. At this rate, I'm never gonna make my money back, right? AI will allow you to get those reports and act almost as if you're a product, like a high functioning product manager in your company, managing that team that's doing it. So fantastic. I even played around with, because it would make a ton of money sense for me, and also check the box for me, like I want to help everyone here in the community, to create a course on PPC, right? Like Dimitri's saying, we've been around 13 years, how do I not have one on that? That'd be the easiest thing to sell. My concern is how much upkeep it would take because of how often things change.
Right.
So we went all in on Gemini. I saw one of these gems that was a learning gem that would teach you things. And I said, teach me Amazon PPC. So on the ride home, I'm like, obviously I know it, so I'm gonna be able to call out if this thing's off. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it was better than any other beginner course I'd seen.
Wow.
100%. We use them for reports. We're still primarily using people, but it's mainly because it's more of like a building up confidence. It's a new tool. There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of stuff on the line. You know, every time it spits out a message and it says, please double check this because I could be wrong, is always scary.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's still primarily people, and we're trying to figure out a way to switch to where it's maybe on the report side and evaluating reports instead of 80% people, 20% AI, that we could flip that. And I think we could totally do that this year. Yeah. Now, can you give me some background on that? Like, how did that question come up for you?
No, because yes, I always trying to get better performance, not just in Amazon, also in Meta and TikTok, no? And lately, I just like download all of the reports and upload in ChatGPT, and please give me some suggestions about this performance. Give me what kind of report do you need to make a better or get better strategy, and I'm doing like I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but I think it's somebody with knowledge that you can also discuss. I usually discuss with ChatGPT because they say something, but I know that maybe it's wrong, and it's interesting because it's not like a.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild that 5 years ago talking to
Right.
yourself was crazy, but now you could talk.
Right.
Now you should have full-blown, in-depth conversations with this artificial intelligence and share your medical history and your most personal details.
Right.
Right? Like, isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you didn't get in the car with strangers, Uber. You definitely didn't go into somebody's house and it's Airbnb. You know what I mean? So it's crazy what's happening, but exciting. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would say, unsolicited advice, what the biggest thing that like frustrates me about somebody just starting off trying to learn ads themselves while also launching their product is there is such a thing as like opportunity cost, and time costs money.
Right.
So the rate you learn, there's zero chance that you're even breaking even on those opportunity costs. So, and I don't have a perfect answer for that. Like, the answer I want to say is hire someone in-house. A lot of cons to that as well, because now you're responsible for managing them, training them, and then there's the agency. There's more training, but at the end of the day, you're one of several different clients at that agency, including mine. That's everybody's agency. I think I really do feel though that what you're doing would get most benefits if you were doing one of the latter two, which is hiring someone that's ahead of you and monitoring that, because the risk of hiring someone that's ahead of you is, yes, it costs more money out, but if the risk is only if that's left unchecked. Because if you're on top of it and you're able to now be on top of it with AI, there is no risk of like, they blew all my budget, I can't do anything. Like, you're gonna know month to month.
Right.
Doesn't work, no contract, I'm out. And you're gonna be so much further ahead that way, because the benefit, the one major pro with agencies is that they're constantly training.
Right.
Like, they're constantly seeing different looks across different brands, and you benefit
course.
by inheriting that knowledge. So that's it. But the fact that you're doing that, I think, puts you in like the 1 percentile of business owners that do it. That's phenomenal. What do you do?
I produce and sell non-slip socks for babies and toddlers, like a Reaper socks.
We just bought some of those.
For real? Well, the main difference in our product is that our sole is a pool. It's not the typical dots, silicone dots.
Baby Shocks.
Yes.
Yeah, I know your brand.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I know your brand. Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of friends that are having a lot of babies. Ours are past that stage.
Okay.
We just got out of 6, 7.
Right.
My son turned 8, so now it's 6, 8.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know your brand. It's a really good brand. You have great colors.
Right.
Yeah, you have really good colors. If I had to give a critique, if I remember, just because this is a curse, when I see
Yes.
when I see a main image of somebody's brand, I get it, is the way you sell. First of all, the price point. Can I say this?
Yeah, sure, totally.
The price point you have on your 4 or 6 packs, I think is 40, 39 or 41.
Right,
That works.
right,
But and those barely have any traction. You have it on your 2 to 4 packs,
right.
but that's in like the 22 to 25 range, which means you have to be getting clobbered in fees and everything. So you're much more profitable on the other, and the only way you're going to be able to make those other ones really take off, in my opinion,
Right,
is you're going to have to get rid of the smaller ones.
right.
So Dr. Squatch is a good example for Dr. Squatch and what they did. It's scary because you're going from a whole bunch, don't break it.
Of course.
They said, I want to increase our average order value per sale. So they went from 1 bars to 3 bars to 3 packs. That's it. They moved the 1 packs over to the site,
Right,
right? So you increase your Shopify, or I'm sorry,
Right.
no, what do you use? You increase your Shopify on those 1 packs. Your economics are better over there anyway. And then you're also increasing your average order value on Amazon, which is what you need anyway. So you're going to get less unit sales initially, like those first 4 months are going to be
Right.
ugly.
Right.
But then it should take off in your favor because you have a lot more to spend on ads, you can stay
Correct.
profitable. I don't know, my 2 cents.
No.
Nice brand. Congratulations for creating that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you're using AI. I love it. You're my new favorite person. Okay, you ready to be picked on a little bit? No, I'm just kidding. No, no, not picked on. Tell me about yourself. How did you hear about the group?
A friend of mine, Christina,
Yes, that's right. I did ask you this already. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
You told
yeah.
me. She's amazing. She's in season right now, like tax season right now. She's buried.
yeah. Yeah, and she and I were talking about it. We've been talking about it for a while, and she mentioned you guys. So, when she sent me the link, that's when that first meeting over at the tank showed me. So I said, I gotta learn.
Are you familiar with the different models of selling, or do you know one? Like, do you want to start your own brand? Do you?
Based on our conversations from the last time, I've been thinking about a lot about it. So, it was basically what non-products, and then having to advertise it, you mentioned the word, I guess like a brochure, or you had mentioned that it was kind of like not a brochure, but it was more like a page, basically.
I'm blanking. Sorry.
Okay.
And I had a beer, so I might have been. No.
But I did mention to you about going into maybe selling items.
Hold on. Let me get this mic over here so people can hear it over there on the stream, because your question's a good question.
About wedding items.
Oh yeah. Wedding
That's
item.
where that industry that I was more interested in, of course, and having to do with white label versus sourcing it and, having little products already being created and then selling those as well,
Reselling.
reselling.
Yeah, you could do reselling, totally. And there's a lot of different variations of reselling. Reselling is, most sellers that started selling when I started selling were resellers. Starting your own brand was pretty intimidating, and it's the most resource intensive one for sure. As a matter of fact, one of my friends on the stream right now, Steve, I was going to point at Ralph, but Ralph, Steve, they're both a flavor of reseller, which is like pretty much brand owner, because of how close and the type of relationship they have with the brand. As a matter of fact, Steve can correct me, but I don't believe Steve will sell the brand unless he has that relationship with the supplier, which I think is important, really important nowadays if you're going to resell. You totally could go out and source this product from a distributor. You could find it in a store or like wholesale.com or something like that. But if the owner doesn't know who you are, you just show up on the web as some, like, why is this person selling it for this? Where are they getting inventory? And they want to shut you down because you might for example, you might be running ads and you're thinking, man, when I run ads, that's better for everyone. They're getting more exposure, I order more products. But when you run ads, they now need to compete with you on ad costs, and that's not in their best interest. So having a relationship with them allows you to be a partner almost, while also being a reseller. Personally, I'm more in favor of being a brand owner, but nothing wrong with being a reseller to get started. I would just say there's different degrees of it. Try not to be the anonymous reseller that doesn't add value. That like for example, if you found a way to get a hold of Nikes at a big cost, and you're just getting these Nikes and you're sending them to FBA, and you list it against it, and you sell 40 a day. That's great. You don't have to run ads, you don't have to do the pictures, but you're pretty much just piggybacking on Nikes, right? So from Nike's perspective, or I doubt they even know, but like from whoever does care at the helm of Nike's perspective, this person's not adding any value to my brand. They're piggybacking on our other marketing dollars. Whereas if you find a wedding supplier that's got some stuff and you're just like, look, this is how I'm gonna add value here, you can have a much deeper relationship with the brand. Yeah, like I would imagine if you just contacted Igor and said, hey, I'm a South Florida-based business, I'm the best thing since peanut butter, I want to resell your product, that probably goes to spam. But if you're like, I have a 50,000 person email list called Mommy and Me, it's a twice weekly email newsletter, you know, helping soon-to-be moms or from infant to toddler, making that transition, I'd love to resell your product. You might be thinking, wow, this person's getting 1,000 new people per week. Like, this is gonna do better than my ads. Like, I wanna work with this person. That you wanna go closer to that. Because that's probably not gonna go to spam. Like, you're gonna get a conversation on that. I hope, right? Right, Igor? Get a conversation? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, you know, like, New Mommies, Miami, you know.
Well, we
There's tons of-
own the domain Miami Moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We'll talk. Okay. What other questions we got?
One in the
You
chat.
got one? When you're working with suppliers, how do you usually decide a good target range for final sales price and unit COGS? Great question, Kim D, K1P. All right. Oh, Candace. What's up, Candace? And Steve, by the way, Steve looks like he commented on the comment I said earlier about having the relationship with the brand and adding value. It's much better on his cash flow. I would imagine it's also much better on his sleep, so he doesn't wake up in the middle of the night constantly wondering if the supplier cut him. You know? So yeah, thank you for chiming in, Steve. Candace says hello. Miss you, Candace. I thought you were going to be here today. So yeah, when you're working with a supplier, how do you usually decide a good target range price? It's called, you're pretty much answering it. It's TP, it's target price. You don't, you want to start with, like, you have X amount of dollars, and we're all in a different spot on that. Some people are, which I think is insane, buying all their inventory off of a credit card and paying the interest on this thing forever and making minimum payments to do their inventory, and then they're kind of wondering why they're not making money and they're just moving money. So what you need to, so what you need to make is going to be different than what I need to make, and that really matters. So you should start off with, say, here's this product. I have 10,000. I don't know. I don't want to make this more complicated than what. Say I have $30,000. I don't think you should put more than a third of your money into inventory, because you need to operate, you need to reorder, and operating is ads. So you have $10,000 you're willing to put into product. For you to put the $10,000 into product and to hit your goals, because your goal might be triple my money at the end of the year, everybody's goal is different. What do I need to make back in profit per sale for me to hit my goal? So now you're looking at, that's good, what's gonna give you, in my opinion, what you need to get as far as target price. And then with that, you go to the supplier and say, my target price is X. What do we need to do to get there? Like, is it a different material type? Do I need to make some concessions on packaging? Do I need to get this manufactured in the Dominican, like, I don't know, like, I can't get socks out of my head. So like, you have options in the Dominican Republic, there's Peru, there's not just China. North Carolina is great with socks. So like, what concessions might you need to make on where that stuff is located? and then you have that conversation with the supplier. Sometimes the answer is pretty simple. It's just a lot more units than you're willing to order at that time. But that's how I approach that. The rest of it sort of becomes a negotiation with the supplier. Like, if you can't reach that price because you're not ordering a big enough amount, you want to know when's the next time you're doing a run on your line for somebody else who's using the equivalent material, and sort of piggyback in a way on that run, or during the purchasing phase of the materials, you know, the other person's going to buy enough materials and you piggyback on that. You could place standing orders, a lot of different ways that you can negotiate. But that's how I go about it. I hope that made some sense, Kimby. If it didn't, feel free to push harder on me. Okay. We got about 9 more minutes for questions and other beginner stuff. I'll throw out there. Was there any more, by the way? Do you have any? No? Sure?
Yeah, as they come out.
Okay. All right. A few, I guess, some more announcements that oh, he does have. So thank you, Carlos. Do you think we should factor in what competitors are selling at, or not worry too much at all about it? No, I think you should 100% factor in what competitors are selling at, but I'm a huge, like, maybe fanatical, extreme, whatever you want to use. I have a very fanatical or extreme opinion on differentiation. So you should know what they're selling it for, but you should differentiate. And if you differentiate enough, then you don't need to track other people's pricing. But if somebody's selling something for 20 bucks and you want to sell yours for 29, and their main image looks better, and there's nothing that different, visually different in the main image than yours, well, you wouldn't buy yours. So, like, that's an issue. But if you can differentiate enough in that main image to where you can support it, someone can instantly visually see it, then yeah, you make that differentiation. It allows you to price it $34.99 because you've created a blue ocean. If you've read the book, you've created a blue ocean, not this red ocean where you're competing with your competitors. So, like, a lot of ways that you can differentiate, but you don't differentiate just to differentiate. But with AI, fantastic ideas for differentiation. I have a training that's available for free that I go 10 scales that I created, 10 ways to differentiate, including the level of defensibility for each, because you could change the color of your product, but at the end of the day, as soon as you do, your competitors are going to change the color of their product. And if you're doing really well, they're going to match it. So it is a differentiator, but it's not the most defensible. So, like, I created a scale of 10 that allows you to play with it. And obviously, in some of them, it requires a little more work or tooling or something, and that can get a little pricier. At the extreme is a utility patent, which you don't have to be at to differentiate. But yeah, that is my idea on it. If you're not going to, then yes, unfortunately, you should pay a lot of attention to what your competitors are selling it for, because people are not stupid. And if I'm buying a pencil sharpener, I don't have a brand that I go look for pencil sharpeners. And if it's the plug onto the desk one and they all look the same, I'm looking at reviews and price. And if it's my daughter, it's one color, and if it's my son, it's another color, but that's it. Like, that is it. Not that you're a small mom and pop business, not any of that. I'm not going to even scroll down and read that. Minority owned, anything. Like, I don't care. Like, so I hope that helps. I'm opening a second Amazon account. Do you need a separate IP computer for it? Can it use the same ship from address as the first account? No. Okay, so to open up a second Amazon seller account, the rules have changed a bit over time. You're only allowed one. If you have one and you open up another business and you want to have a second account, you can. You used to have to ask for permission. Nowadays, you don't have to ask for permission. That created a problem, because there are specific rules to having a second Amazon seller account that you need to know. But they only share those rules with you when you ask for permission. So the fact that you don't have to ask for permission anymore has created a big problem. You have to make sure that other Amazon Seller Central account that you have, that it does not share any of the same information, with the exception of your name, because you're on both, The IP can be the same in that case, and you can have the same computer device. But everything else has to be different. The phone number, the ship from, the everything. Those accounts are not allowed to sell the same products as each other. As a matter of fact, if you have one that you've sold on this one and you decide, you know what, I'm not gonna sell it over here, I'm gonna sell it over here now, you need to not just zero out the inventory, you need to delete the product. So they have to be completely separate. Some people don't want to do that, and they just want to create a bunch of like VPNs and VPSs and all this, these blockers. My take on that, just out of paranoia, because it's my business, is I think Amazon hires some really sharp people, and they don't need to prove you're using one of those. They just need to prove that your activity looks like you're using one of those, and that's enough to suspend you. So I don't recommend it. Another thing is the motivation behind that. If you're creating a separate, like if you're a reseller and now you want to start a brand, those accounts should be separate. Because when you go, like for example, Igor, since Igor tricked me and I assumed he was a beginner seller, I got to take a picture with you afterwards to show my wife. Yeah, I want to show my wife, yeah. So Igor, let's say Igor got started as a reseller, but then he decided, you know, I'm gonna create a brand, so he creates his brand. At some point, hopefully Igor is gonna sell that brand. He's gonna exit that brand. But if it's mixed with reselling, the transferability of that, when you go to exit it and you get the books and you put it together and you're trying to show profitability, the person buying it wants to buy the brand. They don't want to buy these 90 brands that you're reselling that has no value. They don't want to pay a multiple on that. So like putting the books together becomes more complicated, the transferability becomes more complicated. If they're buying the account and the brand, you're now going to have to recall all that stuff that's in FBA because it's now somebody else's. It's a nightmare. So you want it to be separate. The other motivation why people do this is they're like, man, if I get suspended, I have this other account going on and they'll suspend the other one. Yes, if you do something really shady, like if you're doing like IP infringement at scale or counterfeit, or you're gaming reviews bad, or you're doing one of these hacks that are like strictly forbidden, yeah, they know your accounts, they'll suspend all of them. I would just say don't do that. Like, treat it like a business. And there's no issues. I've had my accounts suspended, and they didn't suspend all the accounts because the suspension had to do something with like someone didn't receive the product on time. And they did, but the tracking number didn't show it. So they were like, oh, nobody's receiving the product, and they suspended me. They didn't suspend my other accounts. They just said, okay, you know, this isn't something that warrants like a suspension across the board. So like, just be clear on, I'm using a prep center. You can use the same prep center. Yeah, a lot of people use the same prep center to ship out goods to FBA. They know it's a prep. Again, if they see the same ship from address, that's not enough for a suspension. That's enough for them to say, oh, what's going on? And then they look and they're like, oh, a lot of sellers use this. This is a very common prep center. When you're launching your products, everyone wants to get their friends and family to buy it and leave reviews, right? That gets you in trouble. But having a friend or family buy your product does not get your account suspended. A pattern of friends and family, local, is like, oh, somebody bought local. This person's also related here. Oh, they've gifted each other on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of checks that they make on the back end, which results in a pattern, which results in a suspension. So it's there's a lot more to it than that. Yeah, you can use a prep center. Let me pop up these other announcements before we get into the topic of the week this week. I've been mentioning for a while, we talk about creating email newsletters and content that I would, and the thing that I recommend is something called Kit, Creator Network, and SparkLoop for doing that. We won't go into detail of what that is now, but I finally finished a course on it. It's free. It's 100% free. There's affiliate links in it. You don't have to use them. I just want you guys to start an email newsletter, and you don't have to pay me anything, nothing. But apparently a lot of people have said that getting set up was very complicated. I didn't find setup complicated. I found walking through and explaining the setup in the course complicated. So now I kind of see where people are coming from. We actually create a real email newsletter from scratch, everything from the logo, everything here in a Google Meet screen share whole way through. You're hearing the conversations between several of us here. I'll be releasing it next week. It's free. I get your email, but I already have your email. So there's no upsell at the end of it. I just really think it's going to help you to create that for your brand moving forward. It's also going to be part of some extra parts as well as far as growth that are not in the free one will be released into the accelerator program portion of it too. So like, it's finally done, which is good news. That's one. The other one is on the Amazon influencer side, which is a cool way that I discovered that you can make money just recording some videos of products you can get a hold of, whether it's around the house or from brands, or like say for example, his baby socks. I'm sure he has a video in his listing, but say he doesn't have any influencer videos in his listing, and you see that, you go ahead and you create a video of his socks and you post it as an influencer, and now anytime somebody's on the fence about buying this, they can go in and look at this video, and if they look at your video before buying, you make a commission. It doesn't cost him anything. Amazon pays a commission for that happening. So at scale, it can create a nice little revenue stream. So I was talking with another group member, and we were thinking about doing an event on some softwares specifically for a new way to do this. And over time, we found different ways to go about it. It started with grab products from around the house into other ones. Last week, we talked about Oink and ViralView. Michael Morejon on the stream, who's been a long-time group member, also knows another way to do this, which I think is actually easier than the Oink and ViralView one, and it also uses a software that you already have called Keepa. So I had him come by this week and do a training here for myself and the team so that we can create some cool content around it, and we'll be putting out some stuff on that. Anybody on the stream that's interested, and anybody here that might be interested? Yes? Okay. I'm thinking of creating our first challenge as a group, right? I will participate, but I'll disqualify myself from being able to win. Oh, Mike's here. What's up, brother? He was gonna come. Gaming and God is Michael Morejon. He came by, gave a great training, gave a lot of his time. He's very generous. He's always been. He's taught a lot of classes here over the years. But I'm sure we'll get him in to do another training on specifically that. I'll have him on the podcast to talk about it more. And there's a lot of other cool stuff, but he has a way to do this, even with Keepa, which is usually one of those base tools that you want in your Amazon business anyway. And if you're a reseller, I'd say it's gonna be like a hammer in your toolbox. It's like required. So you'll probably wind up with that software anyway. Super affordable. I think it's the first software that was ever created in the Amazon space. So he came in here and gave this training. What's cool about these tools, and which was discovered by another group member, and I was like, man, before we share this, I need you to validate it. So he goes out and he validates it. And what it does is, rather than needing to just be reliant on all the products you have around the house, it allows you to go out and find products that have higher commissions and creator connections, and allow you to buy them or you receive them in a day. So you're paying a little bit of money to get the product, say 30 bucks. But the software is letting you know this thing's gonna sell 600 in the next month. Your commission's $3. You need to sell X amount. You'll be profitable or recover your money in 8 days. So it's pretty cool. I was very impressed with it. I was super skeptical at first, and I was like, man, I need you to validate this. I saw enough of it being validated that I would say, welcome, that it's worth digging more into. So pay attention to that. But anyway, I wanted to create a challenge, and what I was gonna do is create an award and say something like, I don't know, whoever can bring in the most in their Amazon influencer account. You can privately confirm it with me. You don't have to share it with everyone. I'll give like I'll give a $2,500 prize. Just anyone that wants to participate. And I'll make sure that everyone getting in, it'll start from a specific date. I'm gonna try to make sure that we can, maybe if there's like a group of people that are already well off onto this and there's a beginner, maybe I get the 2,500 and we split it in two. So there's two different ones that are starting from scratch and ones that are starting from a little later, and we'll have some fun with it. So I think it'll be fun. If you're just starting, it's a great way to create another income stream. It can be a lot of fun. And if you're a seller, you're getting hit in the head with advertising costs constantly, and having a few $1,000s extra coming in every month, even if you're funneling it into PPC or new product development, is always, always welcome. Candace, I'm counting on you. I think Candace will be the most competitive one in the bunch. No offense to you guys, you're new, we'll see. But Candace has proven herself. By the way, that's Candace's product up there. top left, I can bring it down, which is a B glass. I think there was a lot of doubters on that, but my suspicion is that people doubting Candace is like fueling a fire for her. Like when someone says, "Oh, I don't think so. I don't know about this," Candace is like, "Oh yeah, watch me." So it's great. I'll pull it down. Anyone wants to see it afterwards, but it looks really high end. It's really good. I'm not that into bees. I bought it to support.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're into bees or you just want to support, buy it. It's really good. Okay.
Over what period of time was the contest?
I want to get some feedback first from everybody that they're interested, but I would say period of time, I put it over like a 3 to 6 month period. I want it to last, but I see from the feedback here and from Candace is saying, I'm going to win, I will participate. So I think we'll be able to do it. What I'll do is I might create a chat. Anyone that's interested, you jump in. I don't want to make it too formal where you got to sign up and give me details. I'll pledge the amount of money so you guys see that I'm saying this and I got to stick to it. And I might be able to, once I announce it too, get some of these softwares to say, hey, pony up a little bit of some software. Maybe you get like a year's software for free or something. There's no way to lose here. Like even if you come in dead last, you learned a new skill that can easily pay your mortgage. Like it's meant to just get the competitive juices flowing with everybody. And that's what it is. It's good spirit. It'll be fun, right? I'll participate too, because I've been kind of like doing a whole bunch of things and kind of saying, oh, I'm just creating this content for you. But I'll start recording some videos too, and I'll share mine, right? But I'll disqualify myself from winning. Cool.
When I go into lunch.
You're interested?
Maybe my wife.
Okay, whatever. It's a win. Same team. Same team. Yeah, get your wife. That's a secret weapon. The majority of the videos that we posted, I posted the ones in the beginning just so that when I got up here, I wasn't being a hypocrite saying you should do it. But the lion's share of that work was my wife.
When are you going to lunch?
Huh?
When are you going to?
Based on the look on everybody's faces, I'm thinking soon. I'm thinking really soon. I think I'll be announcing it. I'm going to follow up and create a poll in Discord. By the way, we have our Discord. If you go to wizardsofecom.com/chat, there you can get the link to our Discord. I've started posting a little more. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We're going to start getting that chat a lot more active. We recently migrated from Telegram. But go to wizardsofecom.com/chat. I totally get you that Discord has a learning curve, but bear with me. It will be worth the transition, even though it's been graveyard silent in that chat for a bit. So, all right. So very soon, now that I know there's some interest, and I'm feeling a little competitive too. Well, if people are going to get their significant others involved, I'm going to get my team involved, and we're gonna start banging out some content. Okay. All right. Topic of the week. I feel like I've been going on for like an hour and a half already, and I'm like, we're about to wrap up, but we're about to start. So for you guys that are new, the topic of the week is our topic. This week's topic is, Mike says, nice, I want to win that money. The topic of the week this week is, I put 5, I think I put it for you guys.
5 influencers.
Yep.
strategy.
5 influencer strategies. I want to always over deliver with you guys, so I put 10. So I have 10 that I'm going to share with you guys. I want to touch on something really quick before we get into that's going to make sense. And I love this analogy. Some people in the group make fun of me with this, but talking about selling your product and launching your product, right? When you imagine a launch of like a rocket or something, there's these 2 big boosters, not one. There's big boosters and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on together to make something happen. Too many times on Amazon, people launch their product, and launch is the equivalent of my products are available for sale. You know, if you build it, they will come, and a whole bunch of people are going to happen. Then you have a huge chunk of sellers that's I turned on my ads, right? Definitely a whole lot better than just that. But in reality, there is a lot more things that can be part of a launch, right? If you're just starting to sell, they might be intimidating, just like starting to sell online was. So I like to look at it as a wheel, and the wheel has spokes, right? One of those spokes is paid ads, right? If we wanted to like extrapolate, is that the word? Extrapolate this out more, we could say one spoke is Amazon ads, one is Meta ads, one is Google ads, but let's just keep it simple. One of those ads, one of those spokes is Amazon ads, one. Another one's influencers. It's its own spoke. Another one could be TikTok, right? I'm gonna put TikTok separate from social, even though it's there, because TikTok's like a beast of itself. There's TikTok. There's PR. I'm gonna say PR and SEO. But there's public PR and SEO. There is community, like building your list. I don't know, an email list or community. Could also be very closely related to social. I think I said social. There's a lot of different spokes on that wheel. You don't have to answer this. I know, like, we just transitioned out of the beginner hour. Ask yourself, when you get frustrated with sales and you're picking somebody else and you're like, but that person sells 90,000 units a month. How many spokes is that person putting into play in their product and in their launch? Are you trying to use your one Amazon ad spoke to do everything that they're accomplishing with less budget? And if so, how realistic is the success you're sort of setting up? I want to say that because today we're going to go into a different spoke, and that's influencers. I'm sorry, that's influencers. So just keep that wheel in mind, even though today you're probably going to leave here and you're not going to be able, you're just going to like, it's going to feel like you drank out of a fire hose about influencers today. It does not mean, at no point here when I make this thing sounds like the best thing in the world, at no point am I saying turn off your Amazon ads. No. No, don't do that to me.
Good to see it.
Yeah. By the way, Igor's not a beginner, just so he might try to get you.
I was listening on the way.
You
I
heard.
gotta
You
get
heard.
this Eagle.
You gotta keep an eye on this one.
Very bad, and I said to him that you were-
So, bro, I have to say as an aside, I've had I don't use profanity here, but I've had a week, bro. I've had a hard week this week. Good seeing everybody here and the energy. It really like lifts my spirit seeing that. So I appreciate all of you for coming out. Okay. So influencers, I'm not saying stop ads. I'm not saying only talk about influencers. I'm just saying it's one of the other spokes that are there. But throughout this, just consider every time you point at or look at another product on Amazon and you're like, it's the same as mine, but it's selling so much more. Just go through the spokes on this. Do what you can to figure out what other spokes they're using on the web, right? Just simple one right now. You can get Callow Data, which is a tool. You can get, I think it's FastMoss. I always call it FatMoss. FastMoss. You could use Google and then just put the name of the brand, TikTok, the name of the brand, Facebook. Go to their Facebook page and look to see what ads they're running. Like free information out there. Are they doing any of these other things? If they are, you know, are they showing up and every time you search for top 10 humidifiers on Google and they're in like all the listicles? Are you in any of them? Right, so like all that stuff matters, okay? So just, it'll help you not beat yourself up as much. I said as much because I think it's normal for us to beat ourselves up a little bit. So since we have 10, I made notes. Otherwise, I'm gonna burn out at the end of this. I'm gonna forget 3 of them, and you guys are gonna leave me a bad Yelp review, and I don't want a bad Yelp review. So I'm gonna call this first one, and by the way, I set these up 10, so where it would require little to no money, right? So if you're starting, if you have a brand, if you're like, I wanna do more, I feel like I'm doing nothing, I have the bandwidth, everybody can do these, and they work. Okay, so the first one, I had to give them, I just wrote out long form descriptions, and then I told Gemini, I said, give them cool titles. So these words are not my titles, but this one's called UGC, they get better, but this one's called UGC First, right? No, they said UGC First Listing Flip, right? Which, whatever. You can do this before spending a penny on ads, right? So this is important as to like where and when this could fit in. You can do this with an Amazon influencer, which they're very easy to find. Some of them are here. Again, by Amazon influencer, I don't mean someone with a big following. I mean somebody for UGC that can create UGC video, user-generated content, just a video, not AI, just user-generated video. And what you're doing here is you're getting them to just create a low-produced video about your product. Now, you're gonna get that video, and besides it going into your Amazon listing as an influencer slot where they can make money, what you're gonna do is you're going to add that into your listing. You're gonna add it into your A+ content. You can add it into your brand video. Remember, you can add multiple videos on your listing, and most people just add one video. Or most people will say, most people go all in on that one brand video, and they're like, that was a cost prohibitive experience. I'm just gonna stick with that video. I checked that box, there's a video there. You get to add more videos. You can add more than one of your branded videos. It can be what somebody else created. You know, you might have created something with, I hope this is not, I'm thinking this is a good example. I'm hoping it's not offensive to anybody, but like, say you created one and it shows a 50-year-old white male like me. Well, what if you got some UGC creators that are like, not fat, not young, not old, not this color, not that color, like really mixed it up and use those. The likelihood of somebody relating more to that one that fits that not so vanilla description is much higher, and that's gonna help with conversions. So very, 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 very easy to do. And we call that and by the way, if you have questions as I'm going through this, definitely feel free to ask. We're calling this one a UGC first video listing flip. Okay, so just add it into your listing. Another thing you can do is you can use that video as a display ad. You can get that video, remember you're gonna need to run ads. And if your product requires some awareness to it, or you wanna show the product in action, you doesn't need to be this avatar, highly produced quality video. You also don't need to spend any money on doing it. You can go to some of these UGC if you go to Join Brands and you spent $100, you can get 4 or 5 of these videos created for you. That's insane. And that would live as a brand video on your listing. It would live as a sponsored brand video that you can run ads on. It could be a display ad. It could be a whole bunch of different types of ads that you can run on your listing. From day one, you have some content.
So you're talking about Amazon influencers?
Well, you could get those videos from an Amazon influencer.
Yeah.
You could get those videos from someone on Join Brand. You could get the videos from Miguel.
Yeah, but how you can add it to your listing or to your advertisement?
A few different ways. One of the ways you can add it to your listing is you can go in there and add it as one of the videos you want to show on your listing.
Just one.
You could grab one of them, you could swap it out. Put it on there and see how it performs. Remember, you're not just set it and forget it. Put it there. Did it do anything? No. Swap it out. Keep swapping it out. The other thing you can do is you're able to run ads, right? You can run video ads. Do you want one video ad? You want 3 video ads?
Test.
You want high converting video ads. That's the answer. But like you need to, it's not going to be the first one you put out there. Test them. And then when you have 20 of them, you're like, I don't need any more. Yes, you do. Get 20 of them and put them together in a montage. And now that's one video. And keep mixing it up. And keep mixing it up. There's no reason anymore with AI and how affordable it is in the gig economy with freelancers to not be doing this, right? This will help.
Yeah, and this video that is like feedback video, how you can edit? It is Amazon influencers or it's?
Feedback video, you can't edit it, but
But who can edit?
So if a random person gets your product as an Amazon influencer and they leave a video, you can't do anything with that video. You could reach out to them. You know, you could click on their influencer name, go to their Amazon storefront and message them. They want to be found. Like there's going to be ways to contact them. Their social media is there. No. You guys, it's getting bad habits. Come here, bring it in. Bring it in. Está poniendo flaco. If you were listening to the stream, this is the guy who fakes being a beginner. This is he. So if you're working, if that person, contact them and say, hey, I loved your stuff. I'd like to do more with you. What are the chances I could get a hold of the raw part of this? As a matter of fact, I want to get your video and I want to put it in the brand slot. Or I'll create an extra special Creator Connects campaign that I can include you in. For any time somebody does buy your video, you can make more commission.
But they have to buy a product from Amazon, or not? Or you can send them.
We're talking about two slightly different things here. So look how this goes down. So in one scenario, you woke up one day, you jumped in your listing, and there was an Amazon influencer video there. Right now, you can't do anything to that video because it's not your video. Somebody you don't know got a hold of your product. They may have bought it. It may have been gifted. They may have saw it at their sister's house and decided they want to just start doing videos and stuff around their sister's house because they want to make some commissions. A whole bunch of things could happen.
But they can upload this video to their.
They can
to
upload the
their
video to
storefront.
their Amazon influencer storefront and tie it to your listing.
Okay.
But if you like that video and you're like, wow, I want this video to be an ad, or I want this video and how this person described it. Imagine if you had like a product that was like a very female hygiene product. But you just decided because Jungle Scout told you that it's a good product to sell, you decided to sell it. You getting up there talking about how this is a very good feminine hygiene product and you don't look feminine at all is not going to do very well for the brand. But say somebody got a hold of this and you're right, you put together this banger product and there's a woman doing this and she's doing it great. That's what you want in your brand video. So reach out to that person and say, hey, look, I'd like to include your brand right here. They're going to like the prestige. You might pay $50. It might be free. And you could also say, I notice your video is already showing up as an influencer video on this listing in a premium spot. I'll create a creator connections campaign for you so you can earn more commission off of that, which will probably mean you don't have to pay them anything to be able to get the raw file of that video. So that's what I'm talking about there. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing you can do though is now that you have that raw file, is you are now able to use it as a video ad. So you're now not also buying more video creative to sell your product. It might be a great video ad, it might not be a great video ad, but it costs you nothing. It's gonna do a lot better than some random like promo.com, a stale stock like video, you know? Okay. You guys are with me on that? The other one is the nano influencer seed campaign, right? So the idea here is to target 20 to 30 nano influencers. And by nano, I mean between 1 and 10,000 followers. Nothing out of this world. I like how 10,000 followers is not out of this world anymore, right? 10,000 followers used to be, right. As a matter of fact, nowadays you need 10,000 followers just to begin monetizing or getting access to tools on software. You know how many 10,000 people is? How many people are like at the stadium?
Stadium?
In a stadium?
Which stadium?
67,000.
60, 70? No. I thought it was less. That was like 10. How many people were in the old Orange Bowl,
Maybe the arena.
you think? Or where?
The Casella, maybe it's
I mean, 10,000 still is a lot.
10,000 is huge.
It's a lot of
not totally.
Still a lot.
That's a lot of people.
It's not an easy task.
Okay, so reaching out to 20 or 30 of these people and offering them a free product in exchange for a shout out on stories or TikTok. So there's two ways to do this. This is, and by the way, full transparency, this isn't gonna drive 1,000 sales, right? But it will drive more in sales than your cost of product. Like,
Right.
that's happening, right? So just, if you prefer to look at your product and just convert it to cash and say you paid, like if that works easier in your head, that's fine. It might make you thousands in sales. Like you might get thousands of sales off of it, but that's not the idea. It's going to make you back your money, which is your cost of the product, and you're getting a bunch of free exposure. By giving them the free product, you're also getting the raw video file. So you see what's going on here? You're creating a massive content library. The reason why nano influencers work is you know, I had more influence on somebody here in the meetup group in our first 3 months of doing the meetup group than I do at 13 years in. Because at 13, when we first started it's just for the love of it. Now it's like the camera goes where and how is all this stuff? It's more corporate, it's more produced, right? So these nano influencers seem more authentic, right? So people are more inclined to kind of give them a shot. You also don't need to reach out to them and say, just do your best. You can give them some guidance on what types of things would work on the video. So you could have a little influence there. And most of them don't know what to say. So you giving them that doesn't make them feel bad. It helps them. Yeah, it helps them. And there's another thing you're gonna be able to do here with these videos if some of them work, but I'll get to that later on, especially if it's on TikTok. But for right now, this is gonna bring you an amount of sales that is equal to the cost of your product. So any reason why you shouldn't be doing that, right? The only reason is you don't want to reach out to 20 to 30 influencers. That's it. And if that's the case, then that speaks to like a greater sort of disease going on in the business.
Don't launch the product.
Don't launch the product. Yeah.
So you reach like 20, 30, you said?
I think that's no, do hundreds. I'm just saying, don't stop. But I'm saying, just reach out to 20 to 30 to start so that you can come back and say, Carlos, you suck, that wouldn't work. Or that's a number that you can do. That's a number that if that's a priority, you should be getting results for that on Monday.
Okay,
Like,
so you mean reach 20 or 30 or work with 20 or 30?
reach out to 20, well, kind of both. If you're offering a free product and you reach out to 20 to 30 nano influencers, you're gonna get almost all of them to say yes.
And usually you send free product plus commission, right?
No, I send free product.
Yes.
I mean, you can do, they might ask, but if it's a nano, they're not that built in yet. Right now, they're looking for opportunity. Right. The fact that you're willing to send them a free product is like maybe the best validation that they've ever received. They're now able to go back to their significant other and say, you see, what I'm doing works.
Yes.
Right.
I left corporate America for a reason. You know, like, this is important. Okay. And again, you can do this like right now. And we're talking about sales because we're here and that's like the metric, and it is important. But don't write off awareness and like social buzz. Like for example, this is something I learned, I thought it was super obvious, sponsors. We have sponsors in the meetup. Sponsor, when it's coming time to renew the sponsorship, they want to know how, like, this is the only thing they're thinking about. How many people did you bring me that bought my thing? Right? That's it. They seem to not want to put any value whatsoever as to how many eyeballs saw their thing and are going to convert it another way, or did convert and didn't use that link. You know what I mean? Like, you pay for awareness on any other ad platform, right? So like, there is a huge awareness play that is very valuable for your brand here. So you're gonna recover your money and you're actually getting something that it puts you very profitable if you assign any dollar value you want to the awareness side of it. You can look, you can ask your ChatGPT, your Gemini, your person next to you or whatever. Most people don't buy things the first time they see it. They just don't. So that applies to your product. That applies to the videos people see on social media. They see it somewhere. And this is I'm gonna tie these two together. I wanna create this crane, this cool electronic crane that can, for kids, adult/kids that can move stuff. I saw a cool video Bruce showed me. Remember the video? The guy could like he created this thing and it would destroy. Yeah, amazing. You remember the name? You remember the name of it?
The Lego, it was brick, I'll call it.
Yeah, it's addictive, highly addictive. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, addictive. I had to like stop myself from trying to launch something in that space afterwards. It was highly addictive. But you decide you're going to create one. I happen to know Bruce is probably into this, right? We saw the millions of hours of watch time he had on this channel, right? So like, I think he's into this. So I say, Bruce, I got the cool Bulldozer 2000 coming out. I'd like you to shoot me a quick review on this. Not a review, a video talking about it. Unbox it, I don't care. You're into this stuff, just talk.
It's called brick technology.
Brick technology. I highly recommend it on YouTube, but I'm warning you. It is very addictive. And I give it to him and I'm like, I'm not gonna give this guy a script because like, he's into this. I don't want him to sound corporate, I want him to just talk, right? So he does. And he creates a video out there on social media. But remember, I'm getting that video file. So I'm also running this video ad where?
Amazon.
On Amazon.
Everywhere.
So right, everywhere, but on Amazon. So when this person who watches the video, the small percentage at first that decide they want to buy it, do you think they contact him to buy it or do they go where to buy it?
Amazon.
Right, so they go to Amazon to buy it. And what do you think the chances of them buying it are if they're exposed to an ad that's the same person they just saw that confirms that's the product they want on Amazon? Much higher, right? Ad costs you nothing. Right? And there's a way to set that up to specifically retarget on Amazon. Like if somebody left something in their cart or decided not to buy it but watched your listing for a while and now you want to show them a video ad of it, there's a way to retarget people specifically for that. And it doesn't look produced. It's amazing. Okay, that's number two. Well, I'm talking too much. I gotta do 10 of these? Okay, 3, the TikTok search hack. I'm pretty shocked how well this is working. Like, this is one of these ones that I thought would go away, but you work with creators. This is specifically on TikTok, and there's some specific hashtags for this, but let's say I'm gonna go with baby apparel or baby clothes, or what would you put this under, baby clothes or safety, baby safety, or baby clothes?
Yes.
That's difficult. There's a subcategory for socks, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, okay, thank God. So he decides, what he's gonna do is he's gonna put Amazon fines for your baby, right? Or Amazon fines for your baby socks. That's what you're looking for. So you're gonna go into TikTok, and that's what you're gonna search for, Amazon fines for that. And you're gonna look for the creators who create content doing that. And if not, you could ask those people that you just spoke to before, those 20 or 30 micro creators, to use that hashtag, right? People go into, now TikTok's nowhere near as powerful of a search platform as Amazon for products. What the people are, I don't know these people, I'm not one of them. People are going into TikTok to search for products. They are, right? You're doing it? Guilty.
I'm like buying stuff out of TikTok.
I want to like go in your brain and know like how that happens, because to me it's like so foreign, but there is a rapidly growing percentage of people that are going to TikTok to search, right? So you want, when someone searches, and they're aware of this, the people that do this know there's these ways that you can search for specific things. So I would recommend now, if you wanted to, don't totally ignore me, but go in your phone, if you have TikTok, and just put Amazon fines for, and then insert your niche. And then look what comes up. A lot of times, going back to that wheel with the spokes that I told you about, that you need, Amazon ads is just one spoke in that launch wheel. A lot of the times we point at, and we're like, so-and-so's selling 90 bazillion units of this per month. And it's like, yes, they spend more than you on Amazon ads, but not to mention, they also do Facebook ads, they do this, they do that, they have a list, and when you go to TikTok, you see them pop up, right? So just search for your niche. Look at the creators that come up when you search for your niche, and reach out to them. That's it, reach out to them. They're talking about products on Amazon in that niche. You have products in that niche. This is not, it's not rocket science. That's what they're looking for, right? Just reach out to them. You might need to, if you had to reach out to 50, is that the end of the day? Like, you reach out to 50, you're gonna get 20, 30. This is a high conversion. You're putting something out there for you. Give them a free product. So you want them to create it. What's great about that is they create content in the niche and for products that is your niche. So the people that follow them actually have a much higher tendency to buy your product. Okay, and this is something that we're actively doing. So like this works, but you got to do it, right? You got to do it. You don't just, if you have your Amazon ads running, that's great. You need to do that. That's by design on Amazon. But don't just sit back and do nothing else while your competitors are doing everything, right? Sorry, that's
You
my.
have where if that one influencer is advertising 2-3 items, but they're not actually labeling it or the description of it, but then they want you to go through their link tree.
Yeah.
Then the link tree will go into the Amazon front. Then you click on that. Then they list all. Of
How many times have you gone into somebody's link tree and it's sending them to Walmart? Nope. Sending them to Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's what they're.
Amazon.
Yeah, because it's a generous affiliate. The trust is there. 60% of the households have a Prime account. It's Amazon. Yeah, 100%. That's a good call out. Yep. So, let's see. Next one. This is also one. Look, I personally have not had a ton of success on this one. I know people who do, so that's why I'm sharing it. So full transparency. So the other one here is Amazon Live guest appearances. Right? So if you go into Google right now and you search for Amazon Live, it's going to pull up that feed. You could see all those creators. Any person that, and I'm going to pull up some profiles in a second to show you guys, but any person that is an Amazon influencer can also go live, right? And you'll notice it when you go to, let me see if I can, well, I'll go to it in a second when I pop this open for everybody. You'll notice it because when you look in their Amazon influencer storefront, you'll see, their products, which most people that are just arbitraging this and they're not real influencers, that's all they do. They focus on that. But you can also create lists, and you also have a section for live. So you wanna go in and find people that do Amazon Lives. They have, the ones that I've talked to have one huge problem. The ones that do live demos, and which are a lot of them, they don't want to repeat the same products. They need more products, is their number one problem. That's it, they need fresh new products. They don't care about the brand. That's it. They want to make sure you have decent reviews. It could even be early reviews. It could be you have 30 Vine reviews and you're sitting at 4.5 stars. You know, they obviously don't want something that has 1,000 reviews and has 1 star, because I mean they're promoting this thing and they want to make commission off of it, and when it gets returned, that's going to get taken back from them. So that's the only thing they care about. They want to, even if they really love the Coleman lantern, they want a whole bunch of other lanterns, because even they can compare it to the Coleman lantern, and some of those people are just like, yeah, thank you for your comparison, but I also actually like this one. They win no matter which one you buy. They just want the process of getting products easier for them, and you just have to reach out to them. I wouldn't do this, but I guess plugging my friend Ramon, who's going, which I don't know when the last time you talked to Ramon, but he's gone into OpenClaw. You've been hearing about OpenClaw, the AI? He's been going deep into it. To be fair, to his point, this outreach stuff would be something that would be perfect for OpenClaw, for you to do. Reach out to the 20, 30 of this. When they respond, send them this. That is one of those tasks that would be great for OpenClaw, right? How's it? Is it? We're going at a good pace, everybody? Everybody's getting it? Is there any questions you want to ask? Is this valuable? Like we're on the right? Okay. Okay. So the Amazon Live guest appearances. With an Amazon Live video, when they feature your product, you start appearing in search, checkout. Remember the Amazon checkout thing when you see a live? That's just like next to the cash register when you check out. Like that's how valuable that is. People want to be there. You get to show up in search, the product detail page, checkout, and the home page. You know who else shows up there? You know what you have to do to show up there right now if you want to? Pay for an ad, right? You now get to show up in those same spots for not running an ad, just by giving it to someone who does Amazon Lives. A whole bunch of people that do Amazon Lives. And when they run it and they feature your product shows up there. For how much? Nothing. Nothing. Because yes, they get paid, but they get paid from Amazon for the commissions, right? And you're helping. You know what? If there's one that has tens of thousands of viewers, they may ask you for a few $100. Pay the few $100. You're going to pay for it in ads. Like, trust me, it's not going to like absolve you from running ads. Like you're gonna pay one way or the other, and this is the affordable way to pay. Much more affordable, like steel. You won't see it again. So that's number 4, right? So this is 4 ways. So I had Amazon Live guest appearances, the TikTok search hack, which is the Amazon finds for and insert your thing, nano influencer seed campaign, and the UGC first listing flip, right? By the way, and again, full transparency, I'm not that creative to come up with those titles. That is AI titles for that. Like, okay. This next one is the influencer storefront ideas list. This one is gold. I don't know why more people are not doing this. How we used to talk about listicles. Who here does not know what a listicle is? Okay, a listicle is you have a pool and you're on the market for a pool cleaner, one of those robo pool cleaners that go in the bottom, like a Roomba. Like we have these Roombas for the floor, like a Roomba for your pool. You're on the market for one. It's your first one. You don't have another friend that has a pool. You don't know what brand to get. You don't know the problems. So you search for something like pool size, robo pool cleaner. And one of the first hits that come up after generative AI nowadays is, the top 10 pool cleaners and robo pool cleaners for South Florida weather. Like, oh my God, this is for me. This is it. And you go in there and you look at it, and somebody took the time to create this amazing breakdown. I mean, they went deep on these roles. You won't find it anywhere else. You're getting everything you need on this page. And these are the top 10. You're gonna buy one. And it doesn't matter which one you buy. The person that did this article made money. So they convert on robo cleaners on this article, right? You won't find a single robo cleaner on there for $5 because he doesn't make a big commission on $5. So you're going to convert on one of those. It really helps you launch. Sometimes you'll see somebody, you're like, how in God's green earth is this listing selling that many units per month? Like, there's no way. And it's because it's not from Amazon ads. It's from external traffic, and they probably show up in a listicle. So the listicle is a list of 10, a list of 5, the 7 best spatulas, whatever. The 50 best, the top 100 bird cages, right? Remember bunka birds, right? They, all that stuff. I'll give you a real example. I was working on the ads for a company called Bunka Birds, and they had a product which was a bird toy, okay? And it was in the bird cage category. And we were like, well, immediately, we're gonna fix this, right? Because we're gonna get a lot more sales if we're in the right category. So what did we do? We're so smart, we go in there, we put it in the right category. Sales went from about 100 a day to 2. Owner almost lost his mind. He goes, I just hired you to lose 98 sales a day. And we didn't know what happened. We improved the image. But we were just all in on this. This obviously happened on our watch. So like, we got to figure this out. This is what happened. That toy was coming up as the 3rd best thing in a listicle of top 100 bird cages. So when somebody went to go search for a bird cage on Amazon, the first thing they were greeted with was this top 100. And it had a bird toy in it, right? But the person who created this listicle of the top 100, I'm sorry, not the listicle, the Amazon listing showed up. Amazon had a top 100 in this category. When we removed it from the category, it removed from that list. 98% of their sales were coming from Google. We put it back, thank God. Everything got fixed. They didn't fire us. But that many sales were just coming from Amazon. So that's a listicle. That's like the power of listicles.
Can you do multiple categories?
You totally could. You can not. There's not just one listicle either. Amazon has their own listicle. Walmart has their own listicle. Blogs have their own listicle. If you have a novelty product, there's a whole bunch of novelty sites that create their own listicles. There's some people that just talk about love chairs or wedding stuff or whatever. You go out there and you find them, which are very easy to find because they want to be found, and you got to reach out to them. I'm not going to lie and say that that's very easy to do to get their attention, but that's why it's called work. But like that can be a bit complicated because they're also getting inundated with a lot of people, and they can be a little pickier in that scenario. But there is another type of listicle right now that's growing rapidly that I'm going to show you guys that you should be paying attention to. And let me make sure my connection's still here because I want to show the screen on this one. And I'm going to show you how to find them. So here we go. I hope it doesn't make me reconnect. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to make me reconnect. Give me a second so I can put this up. Otherwise, everyone on the stream is going to kill me. All right, so, hold on. Oh, wait a minute, why did it do that? Okay, give me another sec. I put the links up there, but then it wouldn't let me show them to everybody here, so I'm gonna pull my notes up here so I can, no one can ever say I don't take a lot of notes for this, so let me just start popping these open. Okay, so now I should be able to, I'm sharing my screen, so everybody should see that. Let me know on the stream, by the way, if you guys are able to see my screen now. All right, so this is a creator. This is just an Amazon influencer, they're a top creator. not hard to do or to get this done at all, but listicles that we just talked about, when you're talking about some of these creators and you see that they're doing decent, and I'm going to show you how to find them, by the way, so you're not just searching on the web to go find these good ones. But when you're looking at these creators, this idea lists, media lists is a bit different. This is usually like games and videos and stuff like that. But idea lists, this particular person, she says it here, dedicated to finding and sharing products that make life a little bit easier and prettier. Basically, cool, minimalistic aesthetics for the house, like aesthetically pleasing, minimalistic stuff for the house. All of my Amazon picks as seen on social. I think she's on social, probably a good person to do this. It's got 1,789 posts just within lists. And let's do videos. Oh, this is in her videos and lists, everything combined. 1,789 posts. I'll go here. So this person has a list of all this different stuff that she probably, when you go look at her social, uses to create this really nice look that she shows in her videos and everything. And you look at that and you're like, wow, I'd be so much less distracted if I worked here or I had a diffuser. I'm telling you, I do this because I want to be less stressed, and I buy the diffusers and I buy all these little things, right? You buy them. And they all fit this look that you might want, but you don't know how to shop it around and what's the best way to put all this together. These are listicles. These are searchable on Amazon, right? So you no longer need to find, you know, Pepe Blog, right, or whoever who's not responding to anything to get on their listicle. You just need, these are the new listicles, right? These Amazon influencer creators. I'll show you another one, and then I'm going to show you how to find them easily, right? So here's another one, same thing. Oh, let me see if we go to this other one. Was there one here? Live streams, see? This person does live streams. So let's say you have a product. Look at that. Look what's around her. That fits the same vibe that you see around her that she has in her lists, right? So you decide you want to launch something, and you're like, oh, I want to have this throw. I'm so bad with, I have like no fashion sense whatsoever. Like, but you want to get this, they're called a throw, right? You want to get a throw for your sofa. I'm on thin ice right now. You're going to get a throw for your sofa, and all the throws there are from China, and they're selling for $8. And you're like, I don't want to be in $8. Like, how do I get into a premium side, and how do I drum up those sales for that more premium thing? Find someone like this and be like, that fits. You know, that totally fits. Like, this is the types of people that watch this. They're into some of the nicer things, you know. If I told my wife that I got this handle bin tote bag to put my dirty clothes in and it cost $45, she'd end me, right? She's like, that's what all these bags are for, right? So like, she would end, so but not them. So if we were talking about tote bags here, everyone's like, don't sell tote bags. They sell them from China for $4. That one's not selling for $4, right? I bet you the cost isn't that different either. What is it, bamboo fiber, right? So you want to reach out to this person and you want to have them do it. What is this? Doohickey? Is this what it says? Doohickey? Is that am I off? Updated charging case. A $40 charging case. So like $99, what is this? I have one of those. I got it from Temu and it was like $14, right? And it still works to this day, right? But no, this one has this color to it that fits this design.
Aesthetic.
It's aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing. So you want to find this person and you want to get them to work with your stuff. Do they want to make money working from you? Yes. You know how they make money? By doing videos of your stuff. That's how they make money. And they're going to make more, they're going to make money on the life of that. They're going to make more money on that than you're willing to pay them right now, and they know that. So the benefit of them is to get new products in. So again, this is an addition to ads. In addition to your Amazon ads. Okay? So really good. Let's go to this other one. No live stream one, so this one doesn't go live. So a real quick indicator as to who goes live and who doesn't. But an idea list. Only 317 posts. And look, they create stuff in this space. Imagine if you were launching a, well, no, that looks like this.
Computer box?
Yeah, looks like a computer box. Where do you start? Like how do you, It's got to look like everybody else's, right? Get in front of these people, yeah? Don't just use Amazon ads, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
How do buyers usually find those lists? Outside of Amazon or on Amazon?
Well, several ways. The fastest growing part of how people are finding them is off Amazon, because they're searching for stuff. Like, a lot of people don't realize, but Instagram, TikTok, they now index in Google. When you search for something and you're like, the shirt that, I think this is an example I saw, the shirt Bad Bunny was wearing at X. You're almost as likely to see a TikTok creator that is doing a video on it and showing it as you are almost an Amazon listing or a listicle or something else now. Like, so most people are finding them. I don't know about most, they don't share the data, but the fastest growing segment in my opinion is they're finding them off Amazon. The other one is, remember, some people go in and they watch the videos of the Amazon influencer videos before they buy, right? You're not one of them, obviously, from your face. Like, I'm really not either. It depends on the product. But from the fact of the money that everybody's making in this program, it's obvious that they are, because Amazon's not just giving the money away, they're doing it for the person that watched last click attribution. So when someone goes and looks at this video, they may also want to check out the influence, which I think is a much, much smaller percentage. Again, I know a lot of people who are just approaching it as comedy. They have about as much hair as Alex does, and then Alex gets on there and says he's just gonna review hair care videos. And he might shine his head to make it a huge emphasis that he doesn't have hair, but he's doing a hair care video, and you're like, what? But you click on it, and you're laughing, but he's banking. Because you looked at it, you were convinced to buy the thing anyway. Nothing about his video swayed you either way. But last click attribution, he gets the money. So everyone's like, that's stupid. He's just, no, his bank account's not stupid, right? So when you look at that though, you're like, what else is this clown reviewing? You know what I mean? Like, you go into their storefront and you want to go look at the other stuff that they're reviewing. Then there's the social side. Off TikTok, right? Off TikTok, almost everyone, Linktree, they're pointing to their Amazon influencer store. So it's coming from a lot of sources. For the purposes of today's meetup, it works for you just to be able to reach out to them. I'm going to show you really quick how to find them, and we're going to move on to the next one. A lot of people don't know about this. It's called Amazon.com Finds. It can't get simpler than that. This is what it is. Pop that into your browser. Amazon.com Finds.
By the way, no shared screen.
What? No shared screen.
That disconnected.
I did?
No, by itself, when you were talking there, that disconnected off.
Ah, well, give me a second. I want everyone to see this, so I'm going to reconnect this.
Trending Amazon finds.
Mouse off.
What's off?
Mouse off.
Look at me. I'm doing the mouse for my laptop, but the mouse is for this. What, 50-year-olds has been 49 years old is starting to, like, the wheels are starting to come off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, you guys should be able to see it now. So I don't know when it went off, but I showed you this one, so I'm gonna show you Explore now. And that's what this is, Amazon.com Finds. And that's what this is. Just go to Amazon.com Finds and put in your category. So you come over here, you can explore, you're following. It even shows you how to create content if you wanted to. But like, I don't know, babies and toddlers, right? We're gonna get in here. Now, think about this. He sells socks. By the way, I'm so sorry that I said your brand, because some people don't want to share what their brand is, and I didn't know. Normally, I'm like really good with that. But I was making the connection, and I was like, oh, okay. So, a mistake is to go in here, and you are okay with saying the brand? So
Yeah,
I can, okay.
no problem.
So, it's got Baby Shocks, which is a cool name, like socks, shocks. The shock on their face when they, right? So, Baby Shocks. Don't go in here looking for just creators who do baby socks. It's babies. Right? Because the babies, all of them use what? Shocks. So all of these are creators. So now you're in here and you're like, whoa, this is good. 4.2 thousand likes. I guess what? I want to I want to talk to this person. You just click on their name. It's super complicated.
His face telling you he's really happy about what you're doing, which is great.
Yeah. Use my link, by the way, guys. Use my carlosalvarez.com/babyshocks. I really bought some to gift to friends. Yeah. You gotta when you later on look them up because you understand a lot how Amazon works. You can tell the color scheme. It's solid. Looks like there's some copycats coming though. Pretty pretend play. This is this person. But look, this person only has 328 posts. This isn't Kim Kardashian. How hard do you think it would be? How much of her day would you make saying we've identified you as an amazing creator and we would like to send you a free product? Right? Pretty big. Pretty big. What do you think the likelihood is she replies? Really good. Again, I don't think I need to say this, but sometimes people are going to ask me afterwards, but how do I contact her? Right? I don't see a message button. You could follow, but that's not a message button. Mira. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Instagram. is
Same
also
person.
the main one, yeah,
Same person. You can follow them. I'm not logged in here on this computer, but you just hit message.
Yeah.
Something tells me if someone logs in and look. Can somebody look up Pretty Pretend Play on Instagram and let me know if they have a link? Because it's probably going to have a Linktree type link. I'm going to bet. But that's how you contact them. And I think this drop down will give you. Look, you want to contact them on TikTok? Here's their TikTok. YouTube. Here's their YouTube. So
Yes, you can.
no excuses, guys. This is free. At no point did I need to buy anything. Right? At no point do I need to buy anything. All you got to do.
She has one for Amazon and one for Walmart.
And for Walmart, right? I had to make me look bad. She did that on purpose. That's what I get for shooting at Walmart. Okay. Are we good on that one? You guys get it? You know how to find them? Amazon.com finds. Very easy to remember. And what to look for more or less. I mean, we could spend an entire session just on each one of these points. And like ways to really, really get creative with them. But this is, I think for now, there's 10 of these things. There's no reason you don't do all 10 of them. But if you pick 2, pick 1, just do it. You will notice the difference. Yeah?
When you contact like those influencers, is it better to contact them with your brand account? Like let's say you have account for your brand on Instagram or TikTok, or you can contact them with your personal account?
I don't think it matters that much. And I say this with, I'm only saying this because I know you so well. That's an overthinker's question. You would leave and be like, I'm going to wait till next week to ask Carlos if I should contact them as a personal. Do both. Both. Do both. You know, do both. What's that? Whenever I do that too, so to be full transparent, I overthink things too sometimes, but I got to go back and like, I really don't have anybody, well, my wife full time likes to tell me when I do things wrong, but like, I don't have somebody to constantly be on me. So I have these playlists that I'll go listen to and I realize I'm overthinking something, and then I'll put this video list on and I'll go take a walk. There's one that I like that says, "Want It As Bad As You Want to Breathe." What is that, by E.T.? No, Eric Thomas. So it's like, pretend that you want to contact that creator as bad as you want to breathe. And if you wanted to breathe, would you say, am I going to breathe with my personal snorkel, or am I going to breathe with my business snorkel? You're going to grab the closest one and you're going to breathe. So like, just do it.
Question though, why do you think it's gonna make a difference?
Because I think they will trust more for an account that has like brand name and so on than just some random person.
So you got your answer.
Huh?
You got your answer.
Yeah. And no matter what you said, you were right.
Exactly. You got your answer. You
Yeah.
answered yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so we know how to find them and we got some. No, that would have been it, but I said I'm going to give you guys 10. So number 6, and I have to do it in 30 minutes. This is the comparison strategy. So this works really well. You're going to use this one. This is a strategy that you deploy with one of the other ones that we talked about. So this is a strategy you deploy if you were to reach out to some Amazon live streamers. This is a strategy you deploy if you're reaching out to some nano influencers. This is a strategy you deploy in any of the other ones where you're reaching out to some UGC creators. And what you're doing here is you're asking them to, in their video, do a comparison. Compare mine to a larger one, to a smaller one, to a lighter one, to a heavier one, to a cheaper one, to a more expensive one. You want to get those people talking about those comparisons. Like, this is a space saver, easy to clean. How did two of these stack up in a dishwasher? What are all the questions that someone's going to ask about yours? And then do a comparison. If you want to see one of the best comparisons I've ever seen done by a brand, there's a company called Blendtec. And what Blendtec did is they wanted to penetrate the blender market. It's Ninja, Vitamix, big brands, right? Entrenched brands. What Blendtec did, and now they're a top brand, is they created a series called Will It Blend? And they compared how quick their blender models and their models versus other models blended. And they didn't just use like an orange, because who wants to watch which one does faster? No. They said an iPhone, a Samsung, an iPad, will it blend? And they created a series called Will It Blend? But all it was a comparison. They were just comparing. That's it. And they compared it with something that you wouldn't normally think of. Okay?
Very smart.
Very smart. Yeah, very, very smart. If you like that kind of stuff, I'm going to share one more quick one. There's I think I shared this one on the Michael on the thing at Miami-Dade, and there's a company called Surreal, S-U-R-E-A-L. It might be R-R-E-A-L, and they wanted to get into the cereal market. I'm surprised more people have not done this next one on Amazon. They wanted to get into the cereal market, the breakfast cereal, and again, Wheaties, Kellogg's. I mean, these are big brands, big budgets. They're paying these mega stars to be on the cover of Wheaties. So one of the ones you see on the cover of Wheaties say Michael Jordan, Serena Williams. So what they did is they went to amateur acting schools, and this is the one, not amateur acting like college, like they went to Groupon and said someone decided they want to get a 20-pack on Groupon, and they said, hey, we're looking for someone who's semi-interested in acting to pay them $500, but they have to be one of these names. Find me someone named Michael Jordan. Find me someone named not Michael, not the GOAT, just Michael Jordan.
Yes.
So they showed their box cereal, Michael Jordan approves. That the person that's on the cover was Michael Jordan, just not the basketball player Michael Jordan, right? So like that, I'm surprised more people haven't done that, because there's so many common names that you can use for this, and the average person that's willing to say, yeah, I'll be the face and my name is this, they take $500 for that. And you'd be able to say, I don't know, I think that would be killer, right? Okay, enough of that. That had nothing to do with our topic, but I had to say it if you like that other one. Okay, so the comparison strategy, you got it. This is something that you can give to the people. And that doesn't mean every single person you work with in one of those ways needs to be doing a comparison. But when you find somebody, when these 20 to 30, you don't have to just work with them once. You could get them to do the thing we talked about initially, and then go back and say, hey, in addition to, or work with them the regular way. And then whichever one was more pleasant to work with or performed better, circle back with them and now say, hey, I want to approach this in like a comparison series. This is going to work easiest when you identify Amazon live streamers, because the live streams are usually comparison demo style videos anyway. All right? And think about it, if you want to compare blenders and someone has a live stream about blending, they have a lot of blenders. If you have a blender and you find a random UGC creator, the likelihood that they have a whole bunch of blenders to be able to do that video is slim and none. All right. I'm gonna take this off the screen now, since I don't need to show my screen anymore. Let's go up here. What? Oh. There we go. All right. So we talked about the comparison strategy. Whitelisting Spark ads. Remember earlier on I said something that you're going to do when you have people go out there and create some UGC content promoting your product and talking about it on social media, those 20 to 30 micro influencers. And I said, you're probably not going to get thousands of sales from this, but you're going to recover the amount of money you put in as far as cost of product. So it was free advertising, right? You're going to get, and remember on Amazon, when you get some sales, that boost you. So some of those sales might lead to other sales. So it's worth doing. Well, some of them are going to get sales. And when they do, you can now reach out to that person and do something called a Spark ad. And a Spark ad is saying, hey, can you activate, I'm gonna word it the best way I can, but can you activate this to where I can go in and spend money to boost that post that was doing well? So you worked with a micro-influencer, they created a piece of content, most didn't do well, a few did. You wanna give some love, so the more people that see the ones that did, the better. You're able to do that from your own account to their post. So they're not giving you the video, you're posting it on your account and you're reboosting it. No, because you wouldn't have the same impact. You're boosting it on the one that already has a bunch of eyeballs, they're the right eyeballs, and it's communicating, it's sending this to more people that are like the ones that engage with the post, right? So it's called whitelisting or Spark ads. And the reason why this works is a creative, a post, a video that is from the using the creator's handle has a greater impact. If Alex wanted to run an ad promoting the meetup and promoting Wizards of Ecom, it's not going to be as impactful because everyone associates Carlos Alvarez with Wizards of Ecom. Now, if he was given access to Wizards of Ecom and was able to run an ad from one of my posts that I did promoting Wizards of Ecom, not only is the ad from me in my video, you see the engagement of how well this worked, and it is coming from Wizards of Ecom. It's going to perform completely different. Same principle. You with me? You can ask questions. It's a lot. Yeah, we went from the beginning. We left the beginner hour like quickly.
This is just in TikTok, no? Or also on Amazon?
No, this is on TikTok, but you're using this to drive to Amazon.
Right.
You can do a version of this, which I'll get to in a few, using Facebook. But you pretty much anywhere that you have the ability to boost a post and have partnerships, you can do this. Like you have a post, it's like 1 out of every 15 posts does really well, right? Or better than the roast. So like that one you want to give the love to versus just promoting all of them. That one has more likes, more comments, more engagement. And when you're promoting that, the people that see that ad see it and it's proven.
Right.
But if you created that on, the Facebook business page, Baby Shocks, great. But if you were working with an influencer or a UGC creator, you want to do it from their page to their audience, right? So you need to be able to do it that way. In TikTok, it's a Spark ad.
Right, got it.
Yeah. Number 8, the problem solution hook. So now we're getting into, this is more in the line of the comparison one, and this is something that you can do. You've worked with the 20-30 micro-influencers. You found a percentage of them that did better than other ones or that were more pleasant. You reached out to them and you said, hey, let's do the comparison videos and stuff. But now you want to do another type, and it's problem solution hooks. And what this is somebody's using a garlic press, they break and they're hard to clean. You want to start with, or like, for example, juicing. I was liking juicing, and I heard that turmeric and ginger was good to do. But they're so fibrous that when you run them through the juicer, you got to give up 30 minutes of your life cleaning it, right? So if you've ever been into juicing, you know this. If a problem solution framework might be the easy to clean 5-minute turmeric juicer, right? If you said the easy to clean 5-minute cucumber juicer, apple juicer, anyone that's done this, well, that's not difficult.
Right.
The juice just flies out, that's nothing. But if you say, remolacha, beets, if you say turmeric, and you say ginger, it's like 5 minutes, like you got my attention. So like you're basically at this point going in and you're giving them guidance now on the hooks. You saw that they can do something and you're like, let me polish you up a little bit. Like you're doing this on your own naturally, fantastic. Let me polish this up a little bit, and here's some additional video ideas to do. I'll also say this, at this stage, what you want to do, and I learned this by accident, I didn't always know this, this is a relatively new finding of mine. A member of the team I had hired her initially, and I said, I want you to go into TikTok and break everything. Just fail as many times as you can, and let's learn from this. Erika, Miguel knows her. Let's learn from this as fast as possible. And so she was working with brands to see how that dynamic would go. And what all the brands wanted is for you to create a new TikTok. We thought you needed to have 10,000 followers, so the brand wants to work with you. No, the brand doesn't want their video to be mixed with like 50 other videos. They want to see creator profiles that just have videos on their stuff, right? Makes sense. So at this stage, after you've gotten some videos from them, seen that they've done pretty good, had them do the comparison, now you're getting into the problem solution framework with them. At this stage, you're probably also asking them, hey, they're making you money at this point. Hey, maybe we get on a little bit of a monthly retainer, small, you continue to make commissions, and let's create a separate profile just for this. That's a little bit of an aside. That would be more of like strategic, I think would be good to do. Number 9 is the hybrid affiliate flat fee model, okay? So this is a way to get a lot of UGC, Amazon, not Amazon. This is a way to get a lot of influencers to create videos for you. And you just offer them 10% commissions, right? And the way you do this is you ask them to promote your product for 10% commissions. If you have a product that sells for $10, that's not very lucrative. If you have a product that sells higher, like Bruce's, 10% for a creator is probably like, okay, 10% per sale. And what you're doing is saying, this is how we track your sales. So you create an Amazon attribution link in your seller account, and you take advantage of the Amazon buyer referral bonus, which means every time somebody uses the link, which is part of the criteria to work together, to make the purchase, you not only see the tracking, Amazon not only sees where this thing comes from and gives you a lot of extra ranking juice, but they also pay you a 10% kickback, if you will, commission on that. You're gonna get that 10% commission, and you're gonna pay the influencer. So it allows you to just scale this at 10% commission, or if you want to honor a 20% commission, you're only coming out 10%, whatever you want to do. But it's a way, it's gonna be, the higher the percentage you go, the easier it's gonna be to find influencers. You're gonna be able to find people at 10%. But if you need to go up to 20 and you're only coming out 10, that's still a heck of a deal, right? Or the lower cost of your product, the higher you may need to go in the commission that you're willing to give, so that the dollar amount that somebody's making, at the end of the day, they're creating a video, they don't want to do it for 40 cents. So that's a great one that would allow you to build. There's no reason over time where you couldn't get to a spot where you had a few hundred influencer UGC creators that have videos out there that at some point may or may not get sales, that are all working on 10% commissions, that's fully tracked by your Amazon attribution link, and you're just passing that commission on. Like, there's no reason not to do that. Okay, final one, number 10. Did I make it in time? Oh, I'm not doing bad. You doubted me, I saw your eyes. All right. Final one is post-purchase UGC retargeting, and that's use the videos created by the influencers as sponsored display video ads, which we talked about this and I said we'd get into it. Retargeting customers who viewed your listing but did not buy. So this is something you cannot start when you first start selling. You need to build up a little bit in the way of sales, or a little bit of history in the way of sales to do this. But once you have, what you're able to do is say, you can create these other types of scenarios that say, hey, anyone that looked at my listing, send them this ad. Anyone that added the product to cart but didn't buy, send them this ad. Anybody who got off subscribe and save, send them this ad. Anyone who bought but didn't get it, like a whole bunch of different combinations that you're going to be able to do on the ad side to do this. But one of the really good ways is, I don't know the percentage, but it has to be tiny, that are of people who, Jesus, I didn't realize if I stand this close, I'm so big on the screen. But like, that there's it's got to be, like, what do you think the percentage of people it is that shop on Amazon with Prime accounts that are also not on social media? Like, the percentage of people, period, who are not on social media is quite small, right? So the reverse of that is, if they're interested in your product, it's impacting their social media habits. I don't know if you believe the phones listen to you. I'm pretty convinced they do. I had some instances yesterday, right? But I'm pretty convinced they do. But you're into the market on this thing, or you're into things that marketers know means you're also into X. That means your social feed is doing its job and it's retargeting you, which means you probably saw one of these bazillion videos you've gotten created by these micro-influencers. And if you're also using that as the display ad that you're using on Amazon, it makes it a lot easier for them. They've seen it again. They're like, oh yeah, this is the one. You know, I forgot to write down, like Miguel's launching a product that has it's got an interesting name to it, and it's not something that really keeps in your mind. And the person might have saw it and been like, oh wow, that makes sense. We can do that. I think I need that in my life. And then they leave, or they scroll, and then they're on Amazon. Oh, that's him, that's the one. I remember that, and like that's the one I like, that had the baby that laughed so contagiously when it fell on its butt. You know, like, you want to get those videos that were free, may have made you money. Forget that. You're probably profitable on those videos. You're to the good, and you're going to use those as display ads to retarget people on Amazon. Highly effective. Okay, those are the 10. I'd mentioned 5, but those are the 10. I want to say this again. This is just one of the spokes on this wheel for selling your products. When we talk about, man, this is a lot of work, it is a lot of work. It's a job. It's a lot of work. Too many people start a brand, you do a whole bunch of stuff, and you feel like because you're running ads that everything's checked. It's not. You need to constantly be going in and updating your creative. You need to constantly be going in, and you gotta be testing. You got to be constantly going in, hopefully with AI now, and looking at those reports and tweaking. And then with all of that, and maybe that's one person in-house, maybe that's you, maybe that's an agency, but that doesn't mean the box is checked, that you could just say, Jesus, take the wheel in your business, and that everything's fine. That's not a launch, that's not scaling your business, that's just one spoke in the wheel. And your competitors, more than likely in 2026, are using more than one spoke in their wheel. So this one is as close to free as it comes. I didn't factor in the amount of time that it takes. It's not that hard, you know? It's not that hard. This video is going to be available. You're going to be able to go back and listen to it. As a matter of fact, get it, pop it in Gemini, or use your AI, ask for the transcript, and then just ask it questions. So you don't have to watch 2.5 hours of this thing. Ask it questions and say, hey, what were the 10 things that Carlos said regarding this? And can you give me a top 5 breakdown of the steps I need to do to accomplish all of them? If anything's unclear, like maybe I glossed over something and in my head what I said was clear, but you're like, you know, he never really said how that connected. Say, what is the information that he might have missed that I could reach out to him and ask him a question for no, for real, like I'm human. I can reach out to him for and ask him for clarification on, so that I can action these. What's a realistic amount of time that I can action all 10 of these, right? This is just easy money in your business. Don't rely on just ads, right? Your competitors are not. All right, that's what I have. We are meeting again, obviously, next Saturday, every Saturday. For those of you that are new, you're more than welcome. I'd love feedback from you guys on how you think it went. We have some sugar-free, high-protein pastelitos for you over there, and coffee. And that's what I got. Thank you. All right. You want to switch your screen. All right, let me stop this.